He is the host with The X Factor, but that's not the end of Dermot O'Leary's many, many talents.
No, he's also added best-selling author to his list of credentials, so he's here to tell us why it all started. It's a rescue cat named Toto. These cats do exist.
Oh, yeah.
Real cats.
Absolutely, yeah.
Rescue cats.
Yeah.
From an Italian olive grove?
We've got a house in Italy. We bought it 10 years ago. And we rent it out during the summer and, you know, just so it wipes its nose, and fell in love with the area. It's in Puglia, right in the heel of Italy. Lovely area.
Beautiful.
Sort of coastal, kind of Ionian Sea on one side, Adriatic Sea on the other. Very authentic Italian. And there's lots of kind of stray dogs, cats. And we befriended this cat called Plaxi and sort of became our villa cat. You know, when you go on holiday, there's always quite often you get...
Oh, we have one.
You've got one this year.
Exactly, you get a holiday cat or a holiday dog, don't you?
It adores me. It breaks my heart when I leave.
Yeah. And so Plaxi, wild cat, well, feral but not wild, probably, stray but not feral, I guess, so you could stroke and pick her up. She's absolutely fine with that. Anyway, about 6 years ago, I came back a day early and Dee called me, my wife called me that night and just went, she's having her kittens in our pillowcase as we speak. So Dee stayed up all night, did this incredible piece of cat midwifery, and then 4 kittens came out. The neighbour took a couple, and I was going to get a dog that year, and then we went, well, that's serendipity, and we kept these 2 kittens.
And brought them back.
Brought them back 3 or 4 months later.
So that was Silver and Toto.
Silver and Toto. Then we realised there's Toto. And we realised Toto was blind really early doors, but she had these incredible reactions. So she could see breaks in light when birds flew over and so forth. And when you're playing with her, she would have these little kind of ninja-like reactions. And then, obviously, like anyone with animals, you start giving your animal, like, a second life, don't you? You start, what have you been up to while I've been out? And all that jazz. And then the idea came from that, really.
Well,
so
who would
I've
believe?
turned her into a member of an international order of ninjas.
Absolutely.
So, funny, you had Dave on the...
incredible life that they lead in the
Exactly. You had
nighttime.
DC on the couch earlier on, and Sam Cam on the couch earlier on. So Toto's boss in real life is Larry the cat, who lives in 10 Downing Street. So she works for him.
Yes, of course.
So he's head of the UK branch of the Ancient Order of International Cat Ninjas, and she works for him.
Now, this was only meant to be in your head, you were like, I'll write this nice one-off book. I've got this idea. Josette, my niece, she'll love to have a little book for her.
Yeah.
And actually now this has turned into novel number 3.
Well, when I went in for my first meeting, they said, look, we like the idea, go away, work on it, write us a chapter plan. I did all of that and came back and pitched it to them, and they went, wonderful, let's have 2 books. And I went, marvellous. Okay. I remember shutting the door and going, don't have 2 ideas, that's all. But then they start to come to you, and now I'm on my 3rd, and I've
here it is.
The 4th.
So I love the fact here you have obviously love of writing, you have a love of TV, you also have a love of music.
Yeah.
And you have managed to incorporate music into this because there is Catstonbury.
She's had a very busy couple of books, and she's had a lot of missions.
Yeah.
And now she's taking some well-earned time off, and she thinks she's going to have a couple of weeks off of, sleep, clean, eat, repeat. And then her brother and her best friend Catface decide to take her down to the annual Animal Music Festival of Catstonbury down in the West Country, run by otters. But we know Emily Evis, who runs Glastonbury. She started out with Dee and Telly years ago. And so when I came up with the idea, I sort of emailed her and went, are you OK to be portrayed as an otter? And she was like, fantastic, I love otters.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Belle loves the books, actually. She didn't really...
She's got a great imagination.
She's got a good imagination. But what's nice is that she can see real Toto, like, for real, on your, Instagram. I'm like, no, it's a real cat. Yeah,
that's lovely.
It's quite nice. So it kind of...
And I think that's what resonates, especially with kids, is that, we all give our animal, it's anthropomorphising our animals.
Yeah.
You always give your animals these kind of human characteristics. So
and voices.
It's been wonderful to kind of try and turn London and the UK into this place. So, for example, they've all got nocturnal lives. They go to a pub called the Sour Saucer in book 2, which is where, all the cats and dogs and hedgehogs and pigeons go of a night time just to sort of get away from their owners. Just
it's a brilliant
glass of milk.
story.
Then you wonder where they go, but that's where
they go.
So that's the literary side of your life. Obviously, there is a massive television side of your life, yeah. And we've got the Celebrity X Factor not far off.
Yeah.
When that was announced, I thought, that's a risk.
You're not the only one. I think we all did. I think, to be fair to Simon...
Do you still think that?
And I always think Simon... what I always say about Simon is you don't have to agree with him all the time, but I admire his bravery. I admire the fact he just goes, you know what, let's
give it a go.
Yeah.
How's it going to work then? So is there an audition process?
Yeah, so we've filmed that already.
With lots of celebs?
In the States, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we filmed that in Simon's house in Malibu, so they come on and they get coached for a week, I suppose, beforehand. and then they pick a couple of songs and come on and do a turn. It is a risk. I haven't seen the shows yet. Having been there for 2 weeks or whatever, sort of in July, I think we filmed it. It felt good, and when it feels good, it normally is.
It normally is.
And it felt fun, and it felt
it's
warm.
quite nice to change.
And it didn't feel. I mean, it's going to be a competition because they get a record contract at the end of it. But I think there was something very kind of quite natural and warm and fun about the whole process, and the celebs kind of bought into that as well. And you're right, it is. It's good to give it a change up a little bit.
Yeah, and also you can always go back next year and do the other one.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah. And then that's followed by the Champions vote.
And then we got Champions leading up to Christmas. Yeah, which is kind of like BGT Champions, but for X Factor, which is all the kind of a few of the winners, a few of the sort of the nearly winners, and a few of the more eccentric people. I was like, is Wagner going to be there? And will he do Love Shack? Because if it's then I'm signing.
I mean, you also love, your podcast. That you've got a new one coming out. Is this People?
People Just People.
People Just People, and this is on Audible.
We're going to do 12 to start with. I think we've done about 4 or 5 interviews. This just comes off the back of my favourite thing to do is interview people.
Yeah.
And on the radio show on Radio 2, I used to have an afternoon show, and we used to have this slot in the middle where I could interview someone for about an hour, and they'd pick their own songs and stuff. And now we've moved to breakfast. It's a very different show, so I don't get that. And that's the reason why we started it, because I really missed it. And we've had some really interesting people. They don't necessarily have to be famous. It's just trying to find the most interesting people I can. So we've got Stig Abel, who was managing editor of the Press Complaints Commission, then the Sun.
That's right. He's coming here.
And Stig's brilliant.
Yeah.
Such a bright guy, lovely man. It's funny actually when you had David Cameron on, we had Ed Miliband on this week. So I had an hour with Ed a couple of days ago, and he's really still an MP. A lot of people forget about Ed. He's still a serving constituency MP for Doncaster.
So if the X Factor or the telly or the books or the Broadway, the Hollywood blockbusters, then the podcast is your off-Broadway.
That's my off-Broadway, yeah. I feel a little bit like that with the books as well. It's something that you can properly just shut yourself away for the first couple of months of the year.
You're disciplined when you write.
Oh yeah, really, I have to be, because I was the most easily distracted guy at school. If 2 people were in the corner, I'd be like, what are they? I could be doing my maths homework, but what are they up to over there? And I haven't changed at all. So I know that I'm a lark, so I'm good in the morning. So I know if I get up and I write to lunch, then and I leave it then, I sort of go away and look at it. And I'm useless after lunch. I just sort of, I may as well have 2 pens and just go like that for about 2 hours.
Well, I'm often useless after lunch as well.
That's a spot of lunch, different thing altogether.